Good morning and a very happy Christmas to you all. This talk is entitled The Sun, S-O-N, also rises, S-O-N also rises. Advent and Christmas, as we know, are saturated in images of light and dark. And this makes sense even on a purely natural level. The days have sharply shortened since the clocks changed, and we feel the need for effective lighting and heating. Light thickens and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. From the Scottish play. Of course, these church seasons are intentionally placed as the year-end approaches. Just as the birthday of St. John the Baptist on June the 24th comes just after midsummer, a reminder of John's insistence that he must increase, I must decrease. In the same way, Advent draws us into the mystery of the Incarnation, set against a seemingly unstoppable slide into darkness. Then, after the solstice, comes the first faint hint of light, and we begin to believe that spring might perhaps actually eventually return. The imaginative power this pattern of light and dark holds long predates Judaism or Christianity. The Newgrange Passage tomb in County Meath, built about 3200 BC, 1,000 years before Stonehenge, is skillfully aligned to allow the midwinter sunlight to penetrate the inner chamber on the solstice. It's good to be reminded how fragile our human existence is, not to overwhelm or depress us, but so that we view ourselves and our surroundings with clear-eyed realism. Just as the dodo, having no natural predator, was easy prey for humans, we also need to remain alert to our dependent and transient state and take nothing for granted. Recent volcanic activity in Iceland is a reminder that the forces of nature always elude our control. Christ, of course, reminds us to shun conceit and self-centeredness, which prevent us receiving the greatest of possible gifts. Truly, I tell you, Jesus says, anyone who does not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will never enter it. Empty vessels, the saying goes, make most noise, or has been said, the church is like a swimming pool, most noise coming from the shallow end. We were also warned not to fall asleep and, so to speak, miss the party, losing alertness and being lulled into a false sense of security. If love covers a multitude of sins, darkness can hide a swathe of opportunities and dangers. The bridegroom was late, and they all grew drowsy and fell asleep. But at midnight there was a cry, "Look, the bridegroom, go out and meet him. Stay awake, because you do not know either the day or the hour." Incidentally, in Jesus' parable of the bridesmaids, the wise and foolish bridesmaids, it's worth noting that both of them, both types, fell asleep. Neither are expected to be superhuman. The difference was that the wise bridesmaids could respond promptly to the summons without delay when it finally came. The others could not. We should also note that nighttime, when the bustle of the world temporarily eases, is often shown as when what really matters burgeons and develops, whether for good or ill. The kingdom of heaven may be compared, Jesus says, to a man who sowed good seed in his field. While everyone was asleep, his enemy came, sowed darnel all among the wheat, and made off. More positively, but also challengingly, comes divine intervention into a disordered and otherwise doomed world. As wisdom tells us, when peaceful silence lay over all, and night had run the half of her swift course, down from the heavens, from the royal throne, leapt your all-powerful word, like a pitiless warrior, into the heart of a land doomed to destruction. Isaiah famously says that the people that walked in darkness has seen a great light. On the inhabitants of a country in shadow dark as death, light has blazed forth. In the specific historical setting, the northern kingdom of Israel has been conquered by Assyria, and its people have been deported. Recovery after such a blow seems impossible, and yet the prophet insists that hope exists beyond this apparent dead end. On a non-scriptural note, it brings to mind the exchange towards the end of Fiddler on the Roof between Motel the tailor and the old rabbi. Orders have come for the expulsion of the villagers from Russian territory. How does that make sense of years of trying to understand God's purposes? Motel, Rabbi, we've been waiting all our lives for the Messiah. Wouldn't now be a good time for him to come? The rabbi responds, we'll have to wait for him someplace else. Meanwhile, let's start packing. Someone referring to this scene thought that one sign of divine providence in the expulsion from Russia was the flowering of the Hollywood film industry. Their views on this may vary. The darkest hour has thrown everything possible at us, and we are still, by God's grace, in the game. St. John resoundingly asserts, the light shines in darkness, and darkness could not overpower it. The stark truth is that we cannot independently plan our way out of human folly or wrongdoing without a strong and trustworthy light, from a lighthouse and not a wrecker's lantern. As Proverbs says, there are ways which men call right, that in the end plunge into the depths of hell. Whether as individuals or communities, we may have to suffer something of the disorientation Israel endured in the days of the Judges. As we see in 1 Samuel, in those days it was rare for the Lord to speak. Visions were rare. One day it happened that Eli was lying down in his room. His eyes were beginning to grow dim. He could no longer see. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the Lord's sanctuary where the ark of God was, when the Lord called, Samuel, Samuel. And yet, of course, what seems a benign and healing light to one person is a deadly threat seen from another angle. When the Magi arrive in Jerusalem, they probably think they have brought the best possible news. Where is the infant King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose and have come to do him homage. Unfortunately for Herod and his inner circle, the Star of Bethlehem seems toxic, not life-giving. But again, the roots of this reaction lie deep in the complexities of human woundedness. St. John again, chapter 3. Though the light has come into the world, men have shown that they preferred darkness to the light because their deeds were evil. And indeed, everybody who does wrong hates the light and avoids it, for fear his actions should be exposed. But the man who lives by the truth comes out into the light, so that it may be plainly seen that what he does is done in God. And coming into the light is a form of narrow way leading to life. It involves discarding comforting illusions of our importance and indispensability. The truth can come as a chill wind, but only in this divine light can we recognize and accept love, not as payment owed, so to speak, for imagined achievements we offer to God, but as freely offered to us. And from that acceptance of love, we pray we are better able to show it humbly to others. God of hosts, bring us back. Let your face shine on us, and we shall be saved. May God bless and keep you all.